And we are live, I believe. Yep, there it goes. We are live. I am Jeff the Iron Wolf, the one, the only. It's my channel, of course I am. But today, we come to you with one of the most saddest things I've ever had to do. On my birthday, no less, as the other guys were saying. But we're here to remember our friend, Brandon Moist. On Facebook, he knew him as Brandon Keith, but most of us knew him as Brandon Moist because he brought the moistness, and it was such a great thing. With me today is Julian Leonardo Reyes, and
hey guys,
down below is the Moist superfan Adam Shawhan. Gentlemen,
hello everybody. Because Facebook was so racist, they wouldn't let poor Brandon use his real last name. That is what happened, and his middle name was Keith. But yes, that's what it was. They said no, we cannot have a Moist on our Facebook. So Brandon Keith was made. These are facts.
How you doing tonight?
doing well. As I said before we went live, I was playing my Switch Warframe, really great game, and then I got the invite and I joined.
Yep. All right. Well, even though at the risk of being copyright claimed, possibly stricken, but I wanted to share a song before we really dive into this and start sharing our memories. This is a song from me to Brandon. Of course, I know I'm ripping on a song that's been used so much from Fast and Furious, but you know what? I think it seems fitting. So without further ado, here we go.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again. Why'd you have to leave so soon, yeah? Why'd you have to go? Why'd you have to leave me when I needed you the most? 'Cause I don't really know how to tell you without feeling much worse. I know you're in a better place, but it's always gonna hurt. Carry on. Give me all the strength I need to carry on. It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
All right, enough of that before I start bursting into tears, but I just wanted to do that because that's kind of how I feel when it comes to Brandon, because I don't know about you guys, but because me and Adam and Brandon used to have a live stream together when Game of Thrones was running. Every episode, especially in the ACG, we come together and we talk about it, what we liked, what we didn't like. Usually it was what we did not like. And Adam, I think I told you, but I was hoping to get together with Brandon. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm getting...
Yep.
You're good, man.
I'm getting messages left, right, and center because as it is, today is my birthday. Sorry about that, folks. But as I was saying, I was actually hoping to get you, Adam, and Brandon together since we hadn't talked in so long and do what we used to do. And now it's just like, wow, I'm never going to have that chance again. And that one hurts.
Well, we were gonna, because part of what we talked about too, because we had the pals group on Facebook, but like Brandon and I were talking about The Witcher when season 2 hit, with getting with you and be like, let's do a recap of season 1 and then dive into season 2 like we did with Game of Thrones. You being a new father and also having a job though, that's why we were kind of waiting. He was like, hey, let's wait till season 2, and because by the time Brandon had the time to start talking about it, everybody else had already talked about it. So he's like, well, maybe we'll wait. And I'm like, yeah. And it gave us time to get with you as well. Like I said, it's been about 6 weeks since I talked to him last. This is one of the things we talked about was upcoming projects that we wanted to work on because, The Witcher season 2 is about to drop soon. So, I mean, there was, I mean, you didn't know this, but you were, you were our third, I was like, hey, let's get the band back together and shoot on The Witcher, like we did with Game of Thrones.
Oh, sorry to cut you off, but we have a very special guest, the one, the only, Mary Mayhem. Mary, thank you for joining.
Hey, sugar.
Mary.
I'm going to apologize up front. I wish that I could stay longer. The whole reason I'm not even having shenanigans tonight is because I'm in the middle of moving. And so, yeah.
We're just glad that you showed up. And hey, we
got one more
person. Justin, welcome.
Hey, man. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing good. Oh, wow. We got so many people suddenly showing up. I got one more. Sorry, Mary.
No, of course.
You can say your piece, and then I know you got things to do, but Mr.
No.
I'll hang out for a little bit.
I'll hang out for a little bit. I'm not going to be able to stay for maybe more than a half an hour or so, but of course I wouldn't miss this. Brandon was amazing and wonderful and such a big part of so many people's startup in YouTube and mine included in that, like when I was first getting started, Brandon was there for a lot of my streams and very, very supportive. And such a wonderful member of the community. Now, Justin, actually, you texted me and told me about this the other day, but I still haven't gotten details on it.
I haven't either. I don't think anyone has. All we know is that.
Adam, would you like to share what you know? Because I know you're the closest to
Brandon. Basically, we know he's passed. His obituary went through. There wasn't really anything that was stated. I've reached out to his family. I'm just waiting on them to get back in touch with me because they're dealing with the loss of their son and everything. Yeah. So, I had Brandon's number. I didn't have his mom's number or anything like that. I was going to meet them next year when I went to PA and started doing a bunch of stuff with him that we had on the books to do. But they're respectfully dealing with that, and I know that once they get around to it, hopefully they'll be able to get to me and we'll be able to find out more. But other than that, it's just the world is a little bit drier now because Master Moist is no longer with us, and it sucks. At the end of the day,
how he rejoiced in the moistness when it came to world-class bullshitters. That's how I knew he was such a great guy because he took that and just ran with it.
It was. I think he made it clear to me, and I think to everybody, that he already had all of the jokes. He's heard them all before, and so when he sent that super chat to World Class Bullshitters on that infamous Moist, a Star Wars story stream. And by the way, we were hanging out backstage one time, or like on a hangout. So Adam, I think you were there too. He said like, Adam, this is the minute mark. And this is like, he loved the stream, and he loved, the fact that one of the channels that he really enjoyed listening to were very fond of his name, if you will. But I think we all know that.
Well, world class. We've met the guys. They're awesome.
Oh yeah. You were at Celebration together. Yeah, that was a fun time.
We were at Celebration 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Actually, all three of us would have been there, but Brandon's cat, had got sick, and because he and I were getting a room together, and then I was going to be there with American Trent, and then he got in a car accident, so he didn't have a car. So I was like, all right. And then Jeff, of course, we got to meet last year at Horror Hound. And the year before that, I actually met you, but you were in a hurry. But you were kind enough when we were talking about the convention room. And I'm like, dude, how hot is it? You're like, real hot. I'm like, shorts or pants? And you're like, shorts, exclamation point. And I'm like, all right, cool. And that was all Facebook and all that good jazz. But, it's the thing of it is like Brandon was great. The thing that I like to point to with Good Morning Pop Culture from World Class Bullshitters, right? Some people, it's a silly little podcast, blah, blah, blah. It brought so many people together. And it just, From
That's
those
the first
people,
time I
we have
ever
right here,
interacted
we've got people that never would have met had it not been for Jeff doing what he did with his silly little podcast that people made fun of. But yet there are thousands of people that know Brandon's name due to that silly little podcast.
and they all do. May the moist be with you. Do you know how much he loved that? It tickled him to no end when people said, "May the moist be with you."
Well, he didn't expect me being me either, because and it was proper. You were with us when he got his master's degree, and like I was the first one to go. Now you're Master Moist, and it's being a Star Wars fan and everything too, and it was just an inside joke between all of us friends and whatnot. But I mean, he did have his master's degree; that's what he was doing, and it just fit. It's like now you are the master of the moistness.
Looks like we're gonna have one more joining us because he said he'd be back once he got a shower. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, the creator of the Fandom Collective, my good friend, the Rookie Critic. Oh no, it's only allowed.
Yeah, 6.
Oh,
We can only have 6. Oh no.
Sorry, Rookie. I'll add you in as soon as I can. It's just
If
telling
you
me.
want sugar, I can chill in the back and let him come in.
No, you have limited time. I'm
Barry,
for a while.
before you go, share your fondest memory.
God, it would have to be the initial, just the moistness, right? When he comes in and he so owns that so deliberately. Oh,
Hey, Rookie.
No, what's up, guys? I can only be here for a couple minutes anyway, so it's all good.
Rookie.
All right, Mary, go ahead again.
It would have to be that initial meeting and the complete ownership of the moistness and how it worked its way into literally every conversation we ever had. It was the funnest thing in the world. And Brandon was just fun. And it's so bizarre to be talking about him in a past tense, that I got it. That's just now like sort of hitting me that doesn't feel right. That shouldn't be the case. And he was such a fun guy and such a lively guy and such a giving guy, because he gave of his time to so many people. And time that is the most precious commodity that we possess, right? And and he gave of it to anyone and everyone. If you approached Brandon and were like, hey, like, he showed up, man. He was the kind who just showed the hell up. And that was just who he was. And that's, God, this sucks. I'm so sorry to his family.
He was going to turn 27 on Christmas.
Yeah, he wasn't. I knew he wasn't very old. Jeez,
So I guess
Louise.
he's the same age as me then, because I turned 27 on May 8th. So,
Yeah.
wow.
I turned 38 today.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
happy
much
birthday.
Forgot about you.
As I was telling Adam, this is totally morbid, but this was like the first open day I had, and I just could not wait another day to do this because Brandon deserves it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
absolutely.
He does.
Hey, Rookie, I know you got to go pretty quick, so share your fondest memory of Brandon Moist. So we
And
can
the boy, I mean, I was there for the spawning of that. I was in the chat listening. I'm like, dude, what? And it was great. And I've come to talk to him from time to time over the last couple of years. I mean, I wish that I talked to him more. Justin and I were just talking about this. Like, man, we wish we could have, but I think he was going to school. He's working. He was getting stuff going. I mean, he was really getting his life on a good track to go forward, really. And so it's really unfortunate too for that aspect that it's taking too soon for him. He wasn't able to.
Completely out of nowhere is the scary thing.
Yeah, I mean, just that sucks. He was a really great dude in general. I mean, I just look back on he was in my first and second skit trilogy, and he gives me his moisture for energy.
There's a disturbance in the moisture.
Disturbance in the moisture. Was it you? And let's do his Jon Snow and his cat and all that. And
his
it's like,
cat.
oh man, it just tugs even more knowing now. It's like, no.
Rookie, you had seen that where I'd put too. That's like the behind the scenes. What people don't know, that was not planned. Like John jumped in the shot as he was shooting it.
Yeah.
Because we were trying to do one shots, where we didn't have to edit stuff, trying to help Rookie as much as we could. And then John just jumped right into the frame like, yeah, I'm in this. Doesn't matter. I'm a kitty. Ha ha.
Do you ever really get a cat to do what you want them to do ever?
No.
Usually not. But they either ruin it or make it better when they do.
And in that case, I mean, like, it was much better. And I know he loved that cat. He really loved that cat so much.
That was really a shame. That was really sad what happened to him too. Like, he was devastated.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah.
one of the things was like we were supposed to do the Star Wars celebration. John had asthma. He had a bad attack. He went to the vet. He had recuperated and everything. So we had talked after that. And then when John passed away, because he did pass in Brandon's arms, what you guys got to understand about John was he was an older cat at a shelter that nobody wanted. And John legitimately picked Brandon. Like this cat came up to him, was all playful and whatnot. Like that cat would not do that to anyone else from what Brandon told me. And he's like, yeah, it was real funny. They're like, he's like looking at this cat and it's all wanting to play with him. And he goes and he's playing with him. And they're like, that is so odd. He just usually just sits there.
And
So
Yeah.
That
John
is-
picked Brandon, you
Brandon
know.
never got to see my son, which
Were
is
you?
this little guy right here.
Yep.
Aw.
You know,
It's beautiful.
up a little wolf.
My son Ethan, and no, I did not name after Ethan Van Sciver. It's just the only name my mother.
We'll just
I thought-
pretend that like it is. We'll just, yeah, we'll roll with
There's
that.
enough names to go around.
But no, this is my son Ethan, and
Hi,
he's
Ethan.
really hi to Brandon.
Hey, Ethan.
He's about to go out the door, but I wanted you all to see him because I really wanted Brandon to see this guy.
It's gonna be Ethan the Iron Wolf.
He's cuter than Baby Yoda. I'll give him that.
Mhm.
And
And he's
that's
adorable in his little. He's adorable in his little snuggie.
Mhm.
Oh, he's
Well,
about
I
to
call him
walk.
Baby Ethan now.
He's about
Yeah.
to walk with Mom, but I wanted to share him because that's another thing I never got to share with Brandon, and it was never got to see my son. I mean, he knew my wife was pregnant, but I think he saw some
Yeah.
photos online, but he never actually got to interact like we are right now.
Yeah, he saw the stuff on Facebook. I mean, that's like the blessing of Facebook. And since I'm on social media, you're live, but you're not live. Like it's not coming through on YouTube, bro.
Mhm.
Oh, it is.
No, it is. I have it up right now. It's
Yeah, it is.
it's
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
got
it's
it.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine just says waiting on Jeff the Iron Wolf.
Try refreshing. Yeah, try refreshing. It's live.
He forgot to
It should
refresh.
work.
But yeah, I'm at to head out.
yeah. I was just about to say. I
Yeah.
know you're about to bounce out, so thanks for
Yep.
showing up. I'm glad you did.
Yep. No problem. It's good to see you guys again. Adam, Justin, Wolf, Mary.
No tongue twister for me,
and
Rook.
Julian. What was that?
No tongue twister for me, Rook.
What?
I can't think of them off the top of my head. When I do those, I think about the words and try to make it almost sound like a sentence, so it's not just random words. Then I throw them out at y'all.
Which is probably the whole reason I can do them.
You're the only one that gets them right the first time. Everyone else usually is like da hoo da head. They quit. They mess up by like the sixth word. You did good. You scare me with how good you can do tongue twisters. But anyway, have a good one, guys. May the moist be with you all.
May the
Absolutely.
moist be with you, rookie.
Yeah, may the moist
Yes.
be with you, Ricky.
Yeah. Later.
Take care, buddy.
All right,
So
I'm
I
not
had the
pretty
old
good.
one,
American Trent 007. You definitely wanted to say some words. Well, here he is. Trent, you hear us? Trent.
Yes, I'm here, and I'm shaking but not struck.
Nice.
Nice. How you doing,
How you
brother?
guys doing tonight? I'm hanging in there. It's good to be talking with some of you guys again, and it's an occasion we all wish we didn't have to be here for. The untimely passing of the Moist himself, Brandon Moist. Just looking back to, I remember on World Class Bullshitters, the stream when that happened, when the Moist button, the moisture, the Moist Awaken, whatever the hell you want to call it, all went down. And that was one of the greatest YouTube live streams I've ever seen, just the way that everyone reacted to it. And I think, speaking to, and I say it's probably a handful, maybe 5 times I was ever on a chat or Facebook message with Brandon. He was a genuine guy. Like,
Yeah.
as soon as that whole thing about the Moist and smashing that Moist button and licking that Moist button all started going, he was leading it. He loved it. He
Oh my
replaced-
God. That's where the like button came from. I just remembered.
That was me. Yeah, because I do lick the like button and make it extra moist by giving a big thumbs up.
That was it. And then it was like choose your movie title and replace it with the word moist.
Yep.
I remember.
Like
I remember that too. Holy shit, God! That
Return of the
feels like
Moist.
no.
With Brandon and I, that was the funny part. Having a secondary account with Frank the Wiener Dog telling you to lick the like button, or in Jeff's case, lick the muff button and make it moist because of Brandon Moist. You know, and you're being told by a Wiener Dog.
Justin, I see you try so hard not to laugh down there.
And we all know those dogs were they were licking their lips. They were moist already, man. Moist for the moist. Just like just like I don't know if this is too risky for the YouTube stream, but hey, the ladies for Mr. Moist, you know where I'm going with this. They loved the guy. Who wouldn't? He was literally a legend in that community, and he still is. And I'll tell you what, I think it was the first kind of fan, and when it comes to YouTube, I've been absent for about a year. I really haven't jumped on the live streams. I've watched videos. I followed you guys on Facebook and seen you guys thankfully staying safe and having children through 2020, 2019. I've had a lot of life stuff going on, grinding, a lot like Brandon was. We all know he was going to school, was kicking ass. But I'm getting back into it now and get to be here with you fine folks tonight. But I'll tell you this, that last fan cast, I guess you can call it, or fan show that Jeff put on for World Class Bullshitters, that I was on with Brandon. We were talking about the movie Gettysburg. That's one of the first war movies I ever saw, and he was a big Civil War fan, reenactor, his history buff, like a lot of us. Such a genuine guy, great to have a conversation with, and that's damn hard to find these days. And I think that will stand out most to me. Good sense of humor, good heart, and just a smart, intelligent young guy with a bright future, but in this regard, a lasting impact.
Trent, you just took the words right out of my mouth, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was dead on.
I completely agree with you, and I said this a couple of nights ago before my live stream, but I'll say it again. I don't think there are enough positive connotations in the English language to describe how much of a wonderful person Brandon Moist was. Brandon, he would, I mean, whether you agreed with his opinion or not, whether you understood what he was talking about or not, which I remember we were watching, we were doing a watch party of, what was it? It was Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And he kept asking me, "What did you learn from this?"
Oh, yeah.
I remember you going off about that.
Yeah. I was like, this made no sense. Like, why do you keep asking me this? I can't focus on the movie. You keep talking.
That was the whole point of making you watch the movie, though. I mean, that was the inside joke. Like, we were going to mess with you the whole stream, and we pretty much did.
Wait, you were messing with me that time? You guys don't understand. This was like over a year and a half ago, almost like 2 years now. Yep. And I'm just now finding out that they were fucking with me.
Yeah, man. We got a slot. I'm sorry it took so long.
Oh, wow.
Not only that, like Odin was confused too. He's like, what's going on? So you confused him too. And it just made you guys laugh even more. Are you serious?
Well, to be fair,
Mary, you were in on the joke.
No. I was not in on the joke. I was not in on the joke, at least not in on the joke, but I figured they were probably messing with you.
She did, man, because she kept saying, leave. Because at that time you were proper. Jeremy alone. And I'm like, no. It's not going to happen. But
I don't understand this because now I hate that movie. I can't watch it. Like people love it, and I'm just like it ruined it for me. It ruined it.
How much Brandon would be loving this right now.
Yeah. He's like,
I bet he's zapping up there in the sky right now.
It's like every single moment he's like, "Oh, what did you learn from this scene? What lesson did you learn?" I'm like, I don't know. And then I just eventually left. Because like, I'm tired of you idiots talking over this. I can't enjoy the movie. Wait,
Well, that was the point of a watch party, right? Is that you're supposed to talk over it, which is why I've always said never watch a movie for the first time for a watch party.
that's one of the few things I've made that mistake twice. That and The Princess Bride. I had to
I
leave.
hate that movie too.
Yeah.
I hate that movie too.
I don't know.
understand.
I don't hate Princess Bride.
You're
at
always
all.
talking shit about it. You are always talking
Of
shit.
course, because people love the movie. They embrace it because you have the nostalgic vibes, and I'm just like, well, I don't, and I think it's fine, I guess. So I don't know. That's just me though.
I don't like. Hold on. You said even setting aside the nostalgic vibes, it's funny. It's current day funny. Like it still holds up. This movie, it's set in a fantasy land. It doesn't adhere to any particular time frames, tropes, or anything. It doesn't. It is timeless, much like Star Wars, right?
Much like Mr. Moist.
Absolutely.
I would have enjoyed it a lot more if I was younger when I saw it. So that's if I was a kid. But anyways, back to the Holy Grail. Fuck you, Adam Shawhan. You were complicit in this, and Mary, you didn't tell me that they were messing with me.
He was smart enough to figure it out.
You
man.
never
that was
told
the best
me, Mary,
part.
and I trusted you more than anyone. How
What am I
dare you?
supposed to do? Start a freaking war? Like I was. It's not like I wasn't on your side. I
would have said, "Oh, they were messing with me." I thought they were lunatics. I was like, "What the heck is going on with Brandon?"
Justin, hang on a second. Hey, in the chat we've got Salvador, and he is confirming that it was his heart, and it was just out of the blue all of a sudden.
God.
Really?
Yes.
So was a heart attack then?
I'm guessing something of
because originally that's what I had heard. I just didn't say nothing, an undiagnosed heart condition, and then
Wow.
But I was waiting to talk with his mom and whatnot. But right on, Sal. Another
Home Wolf Cub. Thanks for the chat, and absolutely, thank you.
Oh yeah. What some people don't know, because back to what Trent was saying too, like Brandon got his master's degree, so I roasted him a little bit about that. But his plans were pre what we're dealing with right now with COVID. He was leaving to go back to Pennsylvania to go to the college that he graduated from and teach. And at 26 years of age, to me, that was epic.
That's astounding. That's absolutely astounding.
He was done. He'd been to Germany. He'd been to the Middle East. He lived in cities and whatnot. He was ready to go home. He was ready to go back and teach at that college that taught him. He had lost his coach, which was also the gentleman that got him into history. He had told me. And if it weren't for that coach in football and it wasn't for the love of history that teacher had, he told me he never would have had it himself. But I mean, that did help define him. He loved Civil War history. I mean, his go-to, his thing. And to know that at 26 years of age, this man had a plan. This young man knew what he was going to do. Granted, he was not able to go with everything going on, especially with schools being all crazy and whatnot. So he stuck with the job he had. But that was the game plan. He was ready to go back to Pennsylvania. He was ready to go home and be closer to his family. And unfortunately, it didn't happen. Like I said, he had projects. We had a lot of stuff together that we were going to work on that were going to be on the channel. He had some side project on his own. There was a book he was writing. Like I was saying, it had a lot to do with.
Man, had so much going.
Yeah, he was such a sharp guy. He really was. He there was no conversation. Again, my experience with him is far less than all of you. It was really on that sort of surface YouTube level. But he never failed. Whenever I was like, hey, I'm just kicking off my channel at the time. I'm just trying to get going. And I need some people for the panel. And would you please join me? And he was always such a wonderful addition because he was so sharp and he was so quick. And he always had something to add to the conversation, something that was genuinely helpful, a genuine addition to conversation. It was always wonderful to have him on because he was such a gem and such a wonderful human being, and he added to everything that he did.
All right, Mr. Ulrich, you haven't had a chance to talk. You said you were his advisor in college.
Yes.
Tell us what he was like in college, because that just fascinates me.
Well, he was he has. Unfortunately, we know of students in our department who have passed away before, and I have never seen anything like the shock and that this has brought about, and especially just because he left such a legacy. Everybody has stories about people he was helping out, about his enthusiasm for everything he did. And, I've just been listening to some of this because obviously the YouTube is, a side of him I never saw per se. Though I wanted to put an appearance here just, to pay tribute and hear and everything.
Oh, we're more than happy to have you because we know him through YouTube, but you knew him so much more personally. And those are the kind of memories that I want to hear. I want to know about.
Well, this is, I was thinking about this because people were talking about his always willing to give and so on. And you were just talking about him coming back to potentially apply for jobs in Pennsylvania and Shippensburg and so on. And what I remember is he graduates in 2016. And right after that fall, I believe, at which point he was a master's student at American University. He came back to campus already around the time of homecoming, and he's already offering to be a guest speaker in classes and so on. And so I actually invite him to come to my Introduction to International Studies class, which was one of his two majors. He majored in History and International Studies. And while he was there, I remember at the time, just one thing I remember is he was handing out his business cards to people to serve as a contact for them, to help them network and get places. And I forget exactly what he said or whatever, but he was telling me afterward how he was plotting this, like this was going, like the mere fact that he talked to them was going to be a lesson in networking and so on. And he was so eager to be of assistance to these students. I want to call them next generation. The students like 2 or 3 years younger than him. The next cohort, I guess you could say. And he continued that all along. He would occasionally send emails to myself or other people with ways that he was wondering if he could contribute back to our department or academic programs. When he got the job he had down in Virginia, he was working with interns, and he was really eager to start helping out students as interns. He really seemed to be into the idea that he could now be a contact, and this was something that he could do for people to kind of like make sure, I try to like whatever the opposite is of pulling up the ladder is what he was going to do, reach down the ladder to help other people climb it as he had done. And he was
impressive.
Yeah, it was just everywhere. And I remember because he was then applying for this position as an academic success coach, which is somebody who works with students who might have a lot of trouble getting used to college level work and mentoring them. And he would have been so great at that because he was a tutor in the history department here. And students, one of the things I'm hearing is how he got other people involved in tutoring. How, some people say, oh, well, because he was my tutor my first year, that's the reason I passed the class and all this other stuff. And so he would have been great at this despite not having the exact academic credentials people were looking for. So those are just
that's one of the problems I kind of have with college is that it's like, oh, we want the credentials, but you don't realize sometimes the credentials doesn't translate to having the ability to do the job.
Oh yeah, exactly. And he would like anything. He didn't have like a master's in educational development or whatever, but he would have been great at it no matter what.
Oh, and that just deepens my respect for the guy. I mean, Adam, our talks on season 8 of Game of Thrones, how much history did he bring to the table?
It was everything, though, bro. It didn't matter if it was Game of Thrones or if we were watching SpongeBob. He was full of so much knowledge, and he always wanted to pay it forward. He wanted people to have the experience in college that he had because he did love college. He really did. Like I said, having known him, he's the same age. He's a couple years older than my kids, so it's like to see somebody have their head on that straight and know what he was going to do, and I got to do this to do that, and do this to do that. And the fact when he talked about coming home to PA and going to work for the college, he was so ecstatic about it. He just legitimately. Remember when we were waiting for the seasons to come? Not season 8 necessarily, but a Game of Thrones and how he'd get. That's how he was every time he talked about going home and going back to work for the college. To get in.
Brian, what college was it? By
Shippensburg University.
Oh, no kidding. My parents went to Shippensburg.
Mhm.
My dad graduated in 75, I believe.
Okay.
Guys, I'm going to apologize. I do have to scooch. I've got so many things to do, and
Mary,
it's going to be a pain in the tuchus.
Mary, just thank you for even showing up. It means the world to me, and I'm pretty sure everybody else.
Of course I would. I can't imagine not showing up. Brandon was such a wonderful member of this community, and we didn't deserve him. We just didn't deserve him. So I can't imagine not showing up.
Well, Mary, may the moist be with you.
May the moist be with you and all of you. And Brandon, if you're looking down, we miss you, man.
We miss you. Thanks, Mary.
Bye, guys.
Later, Mary.
Take care.
Hey, Mary. I'm still pissed at you two, by the way, Adam.
Well, here's the thing that you didn't know. Like, we talked about it, and the first words out of his mouth, and I'm not making this up because he's no longer with us, but he's like, we got to mess with him. He's never seen the movie. We can't not mess with him. And I'm like, bet.
And he never said anything. Not a word. This man literally, like, he
guys, not to be mean, but this is exactly what I needed after hearing the news, is just laughing about his antics, because I don't know about you, but laughter is the best way to remember someone, just smiling and laughing. Like, as an aside, when my grandfather died on my dad's side, we had one of the biggest laughs ever, because I can't remember if it was my father or my uncle, but they brought a bottle of Wild Turkey whiskey, which was his favorite whiskey, and we all took a shot, and we were all just standing there laughing, remembering him. So to pull it to Brandon Moist, I wish some of his family would show up so they could join in the laughter and just remembering the good times, because that's the best way we deal with the issue.
They don't really know. I mean, they know, but they don't understand that part. Like, I mean, his mom know who I'm the crazy wiener dog guy. I've got all, I breed the wiener dog. So of course she knew me as that. And then of course I had to do one up on him. So we were always getting each other.
What?
But I showed him these pictures, like it was Game of Thrones and Walking Dead fleece. I had two of them, and I'm like, dude, which one of these do you like? So he tells me. So I'm like, all right. And then we're talking about Game of Thrones, and I'm like, if you had to pick the family that you were with, who do you think you would be? And he's like, oh, it's Stark, definitely. That's the blanket my wife made him, was Walking Dead on one side and Game of Thrones Stark on the other side. And then there was a cat blanket that we sent for Danny, the second cat he had. And then I had a picture that I'd found that looked like John, his cat. And I sent that to him. And I sent him, and Proper, you'll remember this. I sent him a card for his birthday. And it was the Cantina Band playing. When you opened it up, the Cantina Band was playing, because when we did the Star Wars thing, the Cantina Band always won. Whether you wanted to or them to or not. He pushed the Cantina Band to win in his bowl of Star Wars characters. And, I said that. So, like, they knew they know who I am, just not in the aspect of, he told his mom the stuff I did and the stuff I sent him and everything. And we talk about comics, among other things. We would talk quite oftenly.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think he was kind of similar to me in the way that he probably, people knew, but his family probably knew, but didn't entirely know. That's the same thing with my folks. So I totally understand where he's coming from. It's just like, you want to keep these, it's like, like Seinfeld, worlds are colliding, and it feels weird when it does. Being around the same age as he was, I totally understand that. Not totally explaining everything, but but you can't forget somebody who sends something so thoughtful as that.
Yeah. I didn't even know how young he was. I mean, just the way he talked, the way he acted, the way he carried himself. I thought he was my age, a decade older.
Mm-hmm.
It's for the longest time. I was like,
I didn't know.
Really? Wow.
To be honest, I didn't even know that you were a decade older. I thought you were like 31 or something.
No, just turned 38 today.
Well, again, happy birthday, man! And you know what? I think this is kind of fitting, though. This what better way to close this off than remembering a good friend of yours.
And like I was saying before, you weren't here for it, Justin, but this was the first open day I had, even though I knew it was my birthday.
Oh, I was there for that, yeah.
But he was my buddy. He was my friend. I wanted to remember. I wanted to give him a place where other people could come and share their memories with them, share the laughter, share the love that he spread, the joy he spread, the moistness.
Right. And if I may, Brian, you knew him, in person, in real life. And, that's one of the things that really got me is when I was going through some of the tributes that people were making on Facebook. I'm like, I wasn't alone in the shock, I saw that, this guy wasn't just a personality, wasn't just like playing anything up. He wasn't faking anything. He was just him. And, the same kind of kindness that we, in our, YouTube community, that's the same kind of thing that he, the aura that he had in real life. And it's a real pity that, neither of us got to meet him in person. And I'm sure that would have been because Adam, we were, me, you, and Brandon were thinking about going to Celebration together and all getting a room, if I remember correctly. And I was so disappointed that he wasn't able to go because, and now especially now, I think that would have been like it would have made the experience so much better and so much. Yeah. And Brian, I want to thank you for joining too, man.
Kevin's aunt in the chat, and I want to read what she said. Cindy Moiscara, I hope I didn't butcher her name. If I did, I apologize. Said, I am his aunt. I never realized how much he embraced the Moist name as much as I did. Oh, he rejoiced in it, ma'am. He absolutely rejoiced in it. It definitely made his personality. He loved it. Julian, you haven't had a chance to talk for a while. Share a memory.
Like Mary, I didn't really talk to him a lot, but I remember what was it? It was probably right after the Moist A Star Wars Story stream that we were just, making up names for Moist titles that kept on going back and forth. And I think he won in the end. And I was hoping to meet him, what was it I want to say 2019, because there was the Star Wars Celebration before it got canceled. And I was hoping.
Oh, you mean
2020.
Oh, I was okay.
Yeah. It was before, the COVID happened. And so I was hoping to meet him in there, but then this happened. What was it? The COVID happened, and so it was canceled. And I was like, all right, well, hopefully 2021. And then we got the news through the Facebook World Class Bullshitters fan group. And yeah.
What, Justin?
It's what Brian said in the chat. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, share.
Oh, no, it's fine.
I'm not sure I know the difference between private chat and comments.
Oh no, that was the private chat, and I saw it and I really laughed.
I see it now. Sorry, I've been flipping around between like 10 different screens trying to.
Now you have to share it with everyone.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how. I mean, I guess I can just say it since I'm on the thing and can talk.
Please,
because I don't see how to post comments. Anyway,
you guys are gonna love this.
Yeah, at some point when he was in my class, there was like some viral news story from, I don't know, maybe BuzzFeed, maybe whoever, that moist had been rated the most annoying word in the English language. And he thought that was absolutely hilarious. It became a thing for a little while.
Oh.
I'm about to his last name. That was definitely something that he had in college, too, that I remember.
Mm-hmm. So this I sent to him on his phone the day it was created. Jeff, if you just solo me out for a second, it'll be real big.
Yeah, I got it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Not you.
Oh, look at that pretty birthday boy.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I was fixing it.
he loved this, and it was the funniest thing because I sent it to him because he embraced the moistness. He was just like, "Look, it's my last name. F off. You know, it is what it is." You know, and the fact that it helped with world class, you know, bullshitters because they're like, "Is his name really Brandon Moy?" You know, during that stream when you watch it, and they learned afterwards that yes, it was. And I chatted with Brendan many times just in the chat. That's how I met so many people, was via the chat, you know, and it just it spawned something that you can't make up. And, you know, as I've said, there are thousands of people that know him, not because of the fact just schooling and the Civil War reenactments or any of their stuff, just from that podcast alone, where they're like, oh my God, there's this guy named Moist, Brandon Moist, and oh my good. And then from there on out, you know, every time he'd bring the moisture, it was over. So no matter how you look at it, he did have way more people that knew him just based off of a silly little show that, you know, most people wouldn't get, but now they do. You know, he branched all of us together, and even the works that we've done with, you know, Rookie Critic that Jeff and I have done, that Justin and I have done with Mr. Peabody, Odin, all these people that have since gone on, even Mary, you know, smaller channels that exploded, some smaller channels that are still smaller. He came on Digital Pollution, you know, and hang out with the Brits, you know, and Cub, who's German, also, you know, just another nerd from Ireland. So, and he just stole the show. Even that show, he stole the damn show. And it wasn't like he was trying to. It's just, you know, he'd been so many places that he couldn't believe, because Cub speaks Arabic and Brandon spoke Arabic, and there they are speaking back and forth, and Cub couldn't believe it. He was just like, oh my goodness, he does speak it. It's like, well, yeah, it wasn't a joke, man.
Damn it.
All good, bro. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things, you know. And he, you know, I love him. I miss him. He was my friend. He was my brother. He was my YouTube partner. It was everything we did together. We both were known from world class bullshitters. We branched out. We got together, started doing the Friday, you know, days, and anytime that he'd have free time to do a show, you know.
And then it was great when I think it was. First, you kind of asked me, and then Brandon came and approached me of, hey, would you like to do a live stream with us? And I'm like, count me in. And that's how we became a trio. It was just a total, hey, do you want to do a live stream? I was like, dude, I'm always down for
it. You like Game of Thrones, right? Yeah, I like Game of Thrones, and Brandon liked Game of Thrones. So we're all like, let's do a show together because this would be fun, you know. And of course, you and I had met previously and whatnot too. So I mean, which that also helped. And I mean, like Proper and I were gonna get together when he was in Cali, but I didn't have to take the puppies out that way. And but it's the same thing, you know. It's Justin's like the little kid brother of us, you know. And it's just one of those things, man. Like we all grew together through this community and became friends and family. And that's the thing. We are a YouTube family, even though YouTube's a little bit different than it was back in the day, where it was a lot funner.
Like the Wild West.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was. It really was. But at the end of the day,
everyone was just
we all met each other because of social media, and have been in each other's lives now for the last 2-3 years because of social media. And when something like this happens, you know, it's devastating. I mean, I feel for his mom and his dad and his family. I really do. But I feel it I don't know if it was just because how close we were, or because of the fact that he's the same age as, you know, my kids, that it really hit me a lot harder than I thought it would. And, you know, I mean, I was looking forward to the stuff we had coming up. There was a lot of Civil War reenactments pre-COVID that were planned that I was going to get to shoot, and he was going to do all this. And, you know, there was so much stuff in the works that we were sitting there talking about doing and dragging, you know, a lot of people in on, because we haven't really been together recently with everything going on in the world. Everybody's been kind of busy, and it's like, we need to get back to the basics and everybody hang out, and let's get Proper and Peabody together. Let's get, you know, the Iron Wolf along with Rookie and see what Angus is doing. Let's see if we can get Hicks together, and maybe see what Utan's doing. Let's see what Kendo's doing. Let's see if we can kidnap Dion sometime and do something, you know. And, you know, let's reach out to EVS, you know, kind of a thing. And I'm like, you know me, I'm like, yeah, man, don't dare me. I'll send him 25 emails. Just give me a sec, you know. And that was it. So, you know, we did have some plans, and sadly they're gone, but he'll never be forgotten. He will live on through the streams that we did. I'm trying to get my hands on as much stuff as I can because I'm going to start redoing the Friday stuff streams. I'm going to start redoing all those and stream them through my channel and share it off his Facebook wall and stuff, because I shared out his YouTube channel where everything's at on his Facebook as well, so everybody can get it. I've done it on Twitter as well. Other than that, I mean, it's hard to sit there and go back through it, but I miss my friend. I don't know what else to do other than replay the time that we had together where we all had a blast.
Yep. And I know for Brian, this is probably just shocking and just seeing a whole other side of Brandon where
I knew something about him. I didn't know the YouTube angle of it, but a lot of the stories and stuff you're telling, you can kind of see that side of him, even though it's not as vibrant knowing him the way I do. Just differently, because we were friends on Facebook and so on, and we would talk about non-academic things. Another recent you saw, I don't know if you saw my cat wander across the screen, but I adopted a cat. I adopted a cat in June, and so we had to talk about that on Facebook back then. But yeah, I mean, when you guys were talking about Game of Thrones, and I definitely remember the Game of Thrones fan in him, I was thinking that he's not going to get to see the last season of Better Call Saul.
Oh,
because he was also into Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. He got me into Breaking Bad. I watched Breaking Bad because he kept recommending it.
He had me dying over the Tiger King thing. He's like, "Oh my God, it's the most craziest thing you've ever seen on TV." I'm like, "No, I haven't seen it." It's like, "Oh my God!" He's telling me all the stuff about it. He's like, "Oh my gosh!" And then there's this part, and then there's this part. And he's like, "You got to see it. You got to see it." And then we got to do a show on it. I'm like, "Okay, man, we'll do a show on it." Because he did love doing that. He loved to share, aspects from other people, what they liked about stuff, didn't like about stuff. And he just loved to communicate and have fun. And that was the thing.
I don't know if he did, though. I did recommend he watch The Last Kingdom, but he never told me if he sat down and watched it or not.
Yeah, I don't know. If you
haven't checked it out, I highly suggest it. It's basically the tale of Alfred of Wessex, how basically Wessex pretty much united the UK into right before Charlemagne. Not Charlemagne, William the Conqueror. But,
early 900s, late 800s.
Yeah, late 800s, early 900s. The tale of Alfred of Wessex. But it's a really good show. I love it. It's on Netflix, so. But no, because I didn't just talk Game of Thrones. He loved to talk history. That man lived and breathed it.
Oh yeah,
he really did. He really
That's
did.
what I knew.
I did not believe him at first that he was a Civil War reenactor. He's like, "Yeah, I am. Want to see the photos?" And yeah, I was proven wrong. It was proven way wrong. In fact, he was, apparently, again, going back to, reading things about him on Facebook, through his either his high school friends or his college friends, his roommates, and the Civil War reenactors. He was a prominent member in that, and yeah, it was pretty legit. And I was just in disbelief. How do you do this? How do you do this?
I didn't know that he was a big football player. So was I. I mean, hell, there's just so much stuff that we just don't talk about that we just didn't know. And it was just you read it through all his friends. You can start going through his Facebook feed, and it's like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those instances where the world has lost, an incredible person and didn't even realize it.
Didn't even know it was gone.
Well, the thing is, with me and so many other people, he kind of distanced himself from YouTube. He, didn't want to do that as much anymore. But I think at the end of the day, he was probably one of the most underappreciated members of this community, which is very unfortunate because now in retrospect, knowing how much of a great person we haven't spoken in, I think, over a year. I just kind of thought that he just lost interest and, didn't want to talk about anything more. But now realizing that he had other things going on. You know, he had his life, he had his future.
Yeah,
You know,
he was moving 1,000 miles a minute. Like, I'm sure
right.
a couple of times over the last year. It's like, you know, I'll try to reach out. Like, dude, he is a busy man. I'm like, damn.
And I think there's something that you know, I was talking with you know, Black Angus the other day. He's another YouTuber, Brian. He was saying that you know, like, what really sucks about this is that he had and I had a very long conversation with him. He said that to paraphrase, like, he had dreams, like hopes, dreams, ambitions outside of YouTube. You know, he had goals that he wanted to accomplish, and that's what makes this particularly shocking to him personally. And I mean, I think that speaks for everyone here.
Speaking of which, I knew I was forgetting to message somebody. Sorry, I was, you know, trying to reach out to so many people. It's just, you know, trying to.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's not so easy setting this up, is it?
No, it's not. He's so busy.
Yep. I mean, I've got a little bit more experience at it because I've been doing it, you know, when everything's switched over to StreamYards. But yeah, man, it's kind of one of those when you're like, oh my goodness, I got to do this too. Oh my goodness, I have to. They made it so complicated but so easy.
Yeah, I know.
Really complicated. Makes your fingers moist. Giggity.
Oh, the moisture.
If I may, Brian, you know, like, what do you think about this side of Brandon's life that you probably didn't know about?
Well, no,
I
it's
know
great. It's great. It's like, I mean, it's very similar to what you guys were saying about reading down the wall and you see all these dimensions. And so I knew a lot. This is, you know, just that. It's like, oh, he was doing all this stuff on YouTube. That, you know, he wasn't just talking about TV shows and so on in class. That he was a YouTube personality who apparently meant a lot to that community as well. And so that's something to take in here.
Oh, like the big channel that we all kind of coalesced under, World Class Bullshitters. They were all heartbroken that he died.
Yeah,
because there's 4 of them. There's Jeff, Nick, Neon, and Ken. They were more. Like, Jeff Hicks himself, because he runs the channel, was absolutely dumbfounded to find out he died.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because that's you know, as we were talking about earlier, the stream, they had a live stream, and he just sent a very simple super chat saying, you know, hey, you know, I got a new job, and you know, I like this other YouTuber, and shout out to him, and that was it. And then he had no idea that it was, like, no clue that, you know, it would spawn everything that, you know, you've heard today. It's one of those things that you know, there is kind of a separation between, like, the internet and, like, people, like, that he knew, like, in different like, whether he knew them in real life or just, you know, through YouTube. But I find it so fascinating that the same effect is you know, very consistent, and it just shows the kind of person he is.
I told you about him coming to my Introduction to International Studies class that time, right after he graduated.
Yeah.
And I literally had students tell me that was the highlight of the class. Like, they thought that the things he said, they remembered his name because it was moist. And the things the things he said, I don't, you know, what, just, you know, the presence he had, the charisma, which is a word a lot of people have applied to him. That was one of the highlights of the class, is the day he came to talk about, you know, what he was doing with his degree and what his plans were and all the other stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't just his name that he just, you know, it's not like he just had a name and rode the coattails off of it.
Yeah.
You know, he had, there's a method to the madness and everything. That just, you know, his name, he dealt with it, but, like, you know, it was probably affected him at a younger age, maybe. But after that, it's just like, I'm so used to it. It's the moisture family name, the moist name. It's like, you just have to get used to it.
Yeah, there are a lot of moists out there, but there was only one.
There was there, but not in Virginia, and he would win beers and stuff because they did not believe that was his name. So he pulled out his ID and get a free drink because they'd be like, "There's no way in hell your last name is Moist." He's like, "Yes, it's Brandon Moist." They're like, "No way." Here's your free drink. I mean, he tell me these stories, and it's just, it's not like he was doing it as a joke, be like a smartass. He was just like, "No, this really happened to me. You're not going to believe it." And I'm like, "Tell me." And he'd tell me, and I'd be like, "Yep, that sounds right."
Well, that's just like in the military. It's just Moist was one of those names that I've met, and I hope the censor doesn't nail me for this, but I knew a Seaman Dick and a Seaman Swallows. I kid you not.
Really?
Yes.
That was their name.
Last name, well, Seaman was their rank, but yes, last name of Dick and the last name of Swallows.
That's probably one of the most evil parents that I can ever imagine.
Well, no, it was their last name. They had birth. Oh, that was their last name.
No, they decided to name their kid Richard Swallows, like the most,
Justin, it was two different people. There was a Seaman Dick, that was the last name, and then there was another person, Seaman Swallows.
Oh, I gotcha. Because I know a guy in real life, and his name is Richard Wood, so I thought that was. I'm not kidding.
What's up, Continuum Trek? Thanks for showing up. Hey, do you want an invite? You're more than welcome. But no, you meet people with just absolutely hilarious names like that. Like, here, I'll tell you the name of a guy I knew in the Marine Corps who was in my tactical unit. His name was Steens Thomas. And yes, you heard that right. Thomas was his last name, and his first name was Steens. The first time he said it to me, it's like, "Is your name backwards?" He's like, "No, that's real." Or I'm sure the Moistness would love this name. And I am not kidding. I actually saw his ID. Jammin' Breeze Jablansky.
Wow. It sounds like a football star name.
They named him Jammin'?
Jammin' Breeze. His parents were hippies. He joined the Marine Corps.
Oh, of course they were hippies.
I'm sure Brandon would have loved that one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he thought it was hilarious that I had a wiener dog named Frank, for fuck's sake. I mean, Frank, Oscar.
It's like you do it on purpose.
It's literally like, you start naming them off. I mean, I remember when I first was messaging you proper, and you're like, "That's funny. You send me a picture of your wiener." And I'm like, "Yes," because that's just it. When you raise wiener dogs and you breed wiener dogs, you have to have humor. And with Brandon, it was the same thing with the last name of Moist, because for whatever reason, like, that's what they always hung on to, and he's just like, I just bring the moisture, and it just like I do with the dogs all the time, it just rolls off your tongue. You're just ready. You're just waiting for that person to stick it to them. Then they go, "Oh my goodness." It's like, yep.
It's like, "Hey, do you want a wiener pick?" I'm like, "What?"
And then like, "Yeah, Papa, I know you just enjoyed my wiener, ... pick, LOL," and you'd be like, "Oh, you son of a gun," But how many times were you having a bad day in Cali and I'd send you something stupid like that and it cheered you up?
Yeah, a number of times. more.
Justin, you live in Cali, whereabout?
I lived in the heart of Los Angeles. Right in Hollywood. I can see it from my house.
Oh God, you poor bastard! I grew up right outside of San Jose.
Okay, that's where a good friend of mine lives now. But I don't even know where San Jose is. Actually, I grew up in Ohio, so I didn't really know the geography.
You know where San Francisco is?
Yeah.
Okay, go down Highway 101 about 50 miles. You're running into San Jose.
Okay, so it's like 5 hours drive.
Nah, about hour and a half, 2.
Okay, it's right in between. Okay, because I know it's a long way from LA to San Fran.
Yeah, like from San Jose to LA, yeah, it's about 8 hours. I've done it before. Not a fun drive.
Yeah. But
anyways, back to our good friend Brandon. Anybody else got any great memories to share? Because this has been absolutely great and cathartic. Well, I mean, what else can you say about the guy besides?
I'm so moist, I have to go to the bathroom. So everyone go first.
All
I
right.
tell you what I loved was, even though none of us were really big fans of the new Star Wars movie, his description of the last movie had me dying. And I'm gonna paraphrase as best as I can because it was so funny. He goes, "It's like you live in the basement, right? And you've got like little windows and you can barely see out of them and whatnot." And he's like, "It really sucks." He goes, "The rise of Skywalker to me is like you move up. You're not like on the top level. Hell, you're not even quite on the main floor, but you're not in the basement anymore. And you're in a little bit of a small room, but it's still better than where you were." And it was just it was one of the funniest things because it's like, after we went through all three movies, it's just like, it was what it was. That we knew everybody was going to complain, and that was fine. And we didn't love it, but it's like, well, this is the way they went, and we just kind of went with it. It's like, all right, let's see what happens. And then Mando came out, we were in love. It's like, okay, this is better. This is the Star Wars we wanted. Something more along this line.
Well, Adam, it was just a year of disappointments that year between the Rise of Skywalker and season 8 of Game of Thrones. And I actually saw someone made a proposal. They want to write a book about how Game of Thrones went from the most talked about show on TV to the most forgotten show, and literally almost overnight. Because it was amazing how quickly Game of Thrones just fell off the wagon. This was like done.
Oh yeah, big time. Don't forget Starbucks cup.
Yeah.
or the water bottle.
That was a thing though. Like we had looked so forward to these things, and then they all just kind of went to crap. But us all doing the shows together, like every week, that was the one thing we could look forward to. It's like once it all kind of went to crap, at least we had our friends to do the show with and talk about. I think I had more fun when the show would end and we would guess what was going to happen next week, and we wrote better shows than we got on TV. Because that happened numerous times, Jeff. The three of us together, we wrote a way better season 8 than they ever could have came up with.
Oh my God, that's like, we actually talked about Doomcock when he rewrote the final 2 episodes, and we actually talked about that live on air, and we were like, we liked it, but we also picked it apart and talked about what we do differently. What are you doing, little boy? I just thought that. Sorry, I'm keeping an eye on my little man here.
All good, bro. You know that.
Yep.
Little man first.
Yep, indeed. But yeah. Oh, well, we've been going, about an hour, and I don't think anybody else is really going to be showing up, so I think we're going to start wrapping this up here pretty soon. So, final thoughts. Julian, any final thoughts about our friend, the Moistness?
Just that I never got to actually meet him. It sucks, but life's like that. It's like things. How would I say? They're unexpected.
Yeah, most definitely. Adam.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm gonna be rebroadcasting the videos that we all did together. Some of the other ones from other channels. I do have one from Digital Pollution. I've got stuff from Rookie Critic. Basically, I'm going on a moist hunt, giggity, to find all of the best moist videos and bring you the moisture, because even though he's gone, he will never be forgotten.
All right. Mr. Ulrich, any last words you'd like to say about our departed friend?
Oh, I mean, you could go on a while, but I'll just say that, the thing about Brandon is, he taught you can leave a mark no matter who you are, no matter how old you are. And you better be working at leaving that mark, because you never know how much time you have.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Suddenly cut off.
Oh. Yeah. Justin, final thoughts?
Wow. Well, the one thing that I'll say is that, we might have been, really close in age, but, in terms of, intellect, and in terms of, just like, I don't want to ever compare myself to him, but, it just makes me think, of how little I've accomplished as opposed to what he's been able to do. And the one thing that I think we both, have in common is, and I did this in different ways. I had heard through various people who had had expressed their thoughts about Brandon, people that he knew as high school friends, that he lived every single moment of every day, not necessarily like it was his last, but something kind of like that. And I kind of feel the same way, because you never know what's going to happen to you. It's great to have plans, but you never know. I could seriously get hit by a bus tomorrow, and that would be it. So, and that's weird to say that about a person who's, I'm 25 years old. I'm about 16 months younger than Brandon was. So this really hits me hard, personally, because, it just shows that, anything could be taken away at any moment. So why waste any moment that you have?
Yeah.
And I think that he did everything that he possibly could. And he had no idea. He probably had no clue. Didn't see it coming. And what's very sad about this, just getting to the reality of this, is that mostly people who are older, they'll, if you're a senior citizen, you'll be like, okay, they'll start to have plans of okay, what happens afterwards. But not people like that.
Thinking about it.
Yeah, we're not thinking about it. But clearly he did as much as he possibly could, and he utilized his time very effectively and very efficiently. And the more that I learn about him, the more sad that I am that he's gone. And I almost wish, this is going to sound a little morbid, but I'm just like I would almost gladly take his place, because I'm just this guy is so amazing. Learning about him, that's one of the morbid things that you kind of think about, just and it's really hard to think that way, but I'm just there is so much potential to be had here. And you start to think, why am I here and he's not? But then I also realize that's not a fair thing to ever think about. And all you have is yourself and the people that you surround yourself with. And you should just utilize that in the best way you possibly can. And I think Brandon did that very, very efficiently. A plus, I guess. What a great person he was. And to top that off, just to kind of, because I know I've been rambling for a little bit.
It's fine.
–
Brandon,
Yeah, it's fun.
Fuck you for never telling me about it. He took it to the grave, damn it.
I would never have said nothing, but I mean, here we are.
I'm so impressed. My God. Rest in peace, man.
You know it.
I bet he's laughing right now. I sent it to his aunt. I shared it on Facebook. I showed it earlier with Jeff. I'll share it again. This isn't from that, but this was when he was. Remember the football game where he decided.
I haven't seen this in so long.
So he was drinking a few, and I got to hit the share button. Give me a second, bro. It was just so funny because the beginning of this. he starts off with a hat on. And he's yelling at his TV. He was down like 3 points or 4 points. And he takes his hat off and he throws. And it was he's down at the bottom. The M was Mr. Peabody. Then there's Justin Proper. Then there's me with my old avatar. This is all of us in the old school way that YouTube used to work. You didn't go through StreamYards. So this is us on that. And we weren't live. It was after a show, but we're just hanging out. That's why it says off air. And we're laughing and having a good time. And I start snapshotting all these pictures of him being silly. And I'm like, I have to do that. And I sent them all to him. Like he knew I was doing it because I sent him pictures of it later, like the next day. And he got a kick out of it and thought it was funny. But that was him. Every time we were all together online, whether it's, normally you wouldn't see us like you do now. We would always have the avatars and whatnot. But afterwards, man, the after party was always so much fun. And it's just one of those things. It was very rare to start off together and really not really know what we were going to do or be doing and have that honor of working with him and having a blast with all of you guys and even roasting you proper. Cause I mean, come on, that's just epic. And it was all him. Like, I'm not doing this to be a jackass. It was completely Brandon. Cause he's like, we're not going to tell him, but we're going to mess with him. I'm like, you got it, brother. So
I can't not believe that he never said anything about it.
He wouldn't. That's just the way he is. All right, guys. I played this at the beginning, but I think it's a great way for me to say goodbye because just like Adam, I'm going to miss him. And I'm always going to want that one more chance to have that live stream again. No offense to the rest, but you, me, Adam, and Brandon, just the three amigos one more time. I'll always want it that one more time, and it's just gonna hurt knowing I can't do it. But I'm gonna share this, and we're gonna say goodbye to Brandon Moist.
It's been a long day.
I hate it when it does that.
Damn suffering. They had to ruin it. It had to ruin it.
Yeah.
Darn you, YouTube.
Damn you, YouTube. Damn you, damn you, damn you.
Damn you, YouTube.
No.
You love that.
Brandon, this was you. This was you, damn it.
Brandon, you had to get me one more time. You just had to do it.
What else can you do? What else can you do other than
He's like, I hate this song.
he probably did.
And you know what? Knowing Brandon as well as I do, he would love us laughing about this.
Yep, indeed.
Yeah. All right, guys. It's been a great show. I would love to catch up with you guys in streams again soon. That's gonna be probably my New Year resolution. I need to do more streams.
I'll start pestering you, man. I got nothing else to do. I just want to say, before you close it on out, for everybody, thank you for joining us to say goodbye to our good friend. And remember, may the moist be with you always.
Always. All right,
Always.
guys. Thank you, everybody. We're signing out. I'll catch you for another stream another day.